Well, today's video is all about the wonderful XA Falcon. So most people would know I've got a bit of a passion for these things, and I've had a few over the years, but I thought I'd get Louise to put together a video that's just solely of the XAs that were at the GT Nationals, and we've gone through and done an edit and pulled out a whole heap of really nice video of the car, some of the cars that were there, and just to get my blood running a little bit. A red pepper 4-door, black interior. So this one's at prejudging, and if you want to see all of the cars from the Nationals, go and have a look at our long version. It's a couple of hours long and has all the GTs that were at the event. So the old XA, so first introduced March 1972, and the hardtop come along a few months later in August of 72, and the ones everyone talks about now, the RPO 83s, didn't come along till 73. And it's interesting to note there was 129 sedans in an RPO and 130 hardtops, making 259 altogether. And from my research, it tells me that nobody quite knew what the RPOs had in them. So they all had the 780 Holley and extractors and things, manual choke, but there was a lot of other stuff, wing sumps, 4-bolt mains on the bottom end of the engine. So just depend on how lucky you got with that particular option. And what we've got now is a couple of nice, a nice sedan, and then which was the one that was in scrutineering, and now a beautiful hardtop. So I always go on about colours with these cars. So I thought I'd better do some research on that as well, because there's 22 factory colours, and then there was another 26 corporate colours. So I don't profess to know them all as we go through, but this inside footage here is, this is at the Move, the Motor Vehicle Museum in Shepparton. And if you're going through Shepparton, Country Victoria, go and check it out. Now the old mothball, so this one is an RPO, was the one that was craned out some years ago, and they tell me that to enter the GT Nationals, the car has to be running, so they spent a bit of time and got the old girl running. And the fact that it's still looking like that, I imagine that this one may never get restored, and it will be one of those cars that represents how they were unrestored. Righto, so we're going to jump around a bit because we're just doing the XAs, so a really nice Onyx black. So they made 22 of those. So I've done my homework, I've got some numbers here. I really like the look of that satin black on the black body. It's a nice looking car. So with the GTs, they were all a 351 4V V8 4-speed manual, but there was an option you could do a 3-speed FMX auto if you wanted to go auto. It's a beautiful yellow. There's quite a few yellows that were available in the XA, or available to everybody was probably only the one, and I'm trying to run down the list to see what it was, but there was a couple of other options. There was a yellow glow, which that one's probably a yellow glow, and then there was an RAA yellow, and there's things like surfer orange, shell yellow. There was 3 shell yellows. So this one's zircon, so it's a genuine 1 of 1. And they talk about these 1 of 1s. So 1 of 1 in a colour is that's the only XA in that colour. And then if you run down the list, you can be a 1 of 1 for a whole lot of reasons, whether it was the only one ordered with particular options or motor gearbox combinations. Very nice wild violet. You'll see a few of those. This one's inside obviously, and there's a few more outside. Popular choice back in the day. It's another black. I think my preference is the white trim. The other one had a saddle trim. This one runs a white trim. It's got a Goldie Wineback sunroof as well. So people often talk about, and the comments that were from the the main show that we put together, the 2-hour one, just that there's probably more GTs now than there was when they were built. But it's funny how people don't quite realise just how many were built. There was quite a lot of GTs in all the particular models. So the XA, there was 2,759, which was 1,868 4-doors and 891 2-doors. So there we go, there's a couple of those wild violets. So it's interesting that there was one XA built in 1971, which was probably a prototype, and then in 72 there was 1,222 4-doors and 529 2-doors, and then 1973 there was 645 4-doors. Now that one's, I think, aluminium, but when I went through all these colours, there's a couple of other unusual greys that I didn't realise existed. There's a stratosphere grey, there was 6 of those, so it might be even a stratosphere grey, but nice all the same. Now that one there was quite a few of that colour. Just looking for the number. So yellow fire, if that is a yellow fire, it might be surfer orange, that one. So yellow fire, there was 326. I've got too many colours to look at here. Another nice red pepper. Stunningly presented car, this 4-door red pepper. Incredible attention to detail and the finish and the whole factory look, and I made comment to Dave from the GT Nationals that it almost looked over restored. It was absolutely stunning car. So red pepper was right up there, 486 red pepper XA GTs, let alone all the XBs. And then the next one down is probably yellow fire, which had 326 GTs in that colour. So these old girls had a 351, they were running a single points distributor, and they were making around the 300 horsepower. And the standard GT ran a 600 CFM 4-barrel downdraught carby that was an Autolite, and then the RPOs had a 780 Holley. The compression ratio was way up at 11:1. So all the GTs came out with a standard with a 3:1 diff ratio, but you could order the optional 2.75, and all other sedans come is at 2.75, but the vans and utes were 3:1, so a little bit of useless information for you there. So a very nice white GT there. So ultra white, there was 114 ultra white GTs and another 174 polar white. So there you go, a couple of different whites. So some of the other specs on that, the transmissions and things, it was interesting that with this 4-speed, now I've just got to find my paperwork here, but the performance when new, here we go. So an XA GT, the 4-speed manual would do 50 mile an hour in first gear, or 80 kilometres an hour, 75 mile an hour in second gear, or 121 k's, and in third you'd be doing 100 mile an hour and 161 kilometres an hour, and fourth gear you'd top out at 126 mile an hour or 203 k's. Estimated time from 0 to 100 k's was 8 seconds, and it ran a standing quarter mile in 15.8. So isn't that quite amazing? 15.8 sounds as slow as, but back in 1972 I'm sure it was pretty quick. So that's a nice Calypso green. get my other sheet, the Calypso green. 95 Calypso greens. So a couple of the other greens, you had a Kelly green, there was 25 of those. Well, that's a good example there of, you got the lime and then the yellow and then the fire next to it. So you got yellow glow, 279, and the yellow fire, 326. So that one there's got the protection pack, the overriders, chrome bumpers and the protection moulds down the side. Another nice white one. And then this one here's got the dealer fitted vinyl roof and protection moulds down the side, I would think, by the look, matching items there that were fitted up by the dealers. So I was just reading through what other useless information there might have been in the specs that I downloaded off one of the GT sites. That one stands out, doesn't it? So that'd be Wild Plum. 101 Wild Plum. So that green there, someone actually came through and made a comment on the long version. It's a woodsman's green, and by the data sheets that I've pulled up, he's correct. It's a 1 of 1 in a woodsman. Some of those other colours that are 1 of 1s is Repco green, Reef green, Shell yellow, Royal umber, Beech all yellow, RAA yellow. I know there's 2 of the RAA yellow. Vintage burgundy. Nice RPO there. So surfer orange, there wasn't many of those. I think we've already seen a couple, but there wasn't too many of them. I can't even find it now on my list. There's too many colours to look at. There's 50 odd line items here. Surfer orange, there were 2. 2 XAs in surfer orange. So there'd be lime glaze, that one. My numbers don't show me how many lime glaze, unfortunately. So back to those 1 of 1s, Ready Mix Orange, which is a 2-door out of Queensland. A Track Red, Sogo Port Wine. So that one's not a GT, that's a GS, so that's in the Associates at the Nationals. So some of the other rare ones is Corporate Blue, there was only 3 of those. Check out that old school girl, look at that, beautiful. Takes me back. We had one of those, exactly that tunnel around with a couple of 450s on our panel van. No, sorry, on the XA. God, getting old, Howard. Can't even remember what car. So the Burgundy XA, after the panel van, had one of those WAN tunnel rams that I cut up a fair bit and polished up. Whacked a couple of 450s on it. So a couple other more rare ones, the ambulance white, and the information I was reading up on this is that no one quite knew why they made an extra white. There was already 2 whites in the range. Better Stores Primrose. A lot of people would have heard of the Robertson's Old Gold. There was 3 of those. That was Robertson Chocolates, and it's nothing like a gold, it's more like an orange. So here we go out in the car park now, so we'll grab a few more from out there. It was a beautiful sunny day. It was very warm, but it was a beautiful day. And a lot of these cars had cruised in, so there's a bit of a survivor. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a Stratosphere Grey where there was only 6 of those. Cool Violet, 3 of those. And a Shadow Grey. Look at that, looks like that's running about a 19 or a 20-inch rim on that. Beautifully restored 4-door in a lovely green. So plenty of XAs to see, and there was plenty of all the other models there as well, but I just thought I'd bring you some of those and catch a few of them cruising out now. It was a great 4-day weekend, and I'm looking forward to jumping on a plane and heading over to Western Australia for the next Nationals that will be over in WA in 2 years' time. So if you'll watch the long version of the GT Nationals, all the details of the next one will be on that as well. So look, I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little short one just to bring you all the XAs, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.